Hi, my name is Borden. I'm doing my genius hour project on how youth visitations affect the residents in assisted living homes. I got to interview some really great people and I hope you enjoyed the video. In this video, I'm interviewing Sherry Balsamo, and she talks about how her daughter Emma got to spend time with her great-grandmother Mimi. As a family member, what effects did you see in Mimi's mental health after visits with Emma?
I always saw Mimi get really happy when she came. She always had a huge smile on her face when she walked in the door. And that always made a long-lasting impression on her because it just really made her visit with me like so amazing because she was just so happy.
Do you think that Emma's visits added life to Mimi, like added a drive to Mimi, like added more of
something to look forward to, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely think it did. I know sometimes, not that she was disappointed when it was just me, but she really looked forward to Emma coming because that was like an extra special little ray of sunshine for her. Yeah, definitely. And she loved when Emma came to visit. Added something to look forward to for the next day or the next couple days. Absolutely.
After seeing videos of Emma's activities, how do you think Mimi would react to those videos?
Well, since Mimi really couldn't leave her room, I would take videos of Emma's activities because she was unable physically to go to those activities. So when she had a band performance or a theater performance, I would show her some of the video. And so she was absolutely thrilled and she loved it. And it was like her actually being there. And so it really brought joy to her heart to get to see her perform.
What were some of the things that she might say, like after she would see them?
She was just, especially like when she was in theater and she could hear Emma like saying her lines, like her last role was Little Red in Into the Woods. So when she could actually hear Emma sing or when she could hear her, recite her roles, she was like, oh my gosh, she's so good. I can't believe she's doing this on stage. So it just brought a lot of joy to her heart to see her perform. It was incredible.
Would visits from the youth or Emma spark memories from her own youth, like her own childhood?
Oh, absolutely. My grandmother, Mimi, loved to tell stories, so she was such a great storyteller. She would often tell different stories and kind of compare it to Emma, about what she was doing, what Emma was doing now, and then what Mimi was doing in the past, so it definitely brought out some of those memories.
Yeah. Do you remember one of the stories that she told?
Yes, actually, Emma was in the city group, which is the Bible study class, if you will. And Emma really enjoyed going to that and being in that. And that brought up a Bible study that Mimi was in at school as well. And so, especially talking about God, that was a wonderful thing for them to share.
Yeah.
So it was a great memory for both of them.
Overall, do you think that Emma's visits really helped Mimi and helped her quality of life? Maybe.
Absolutely. Mimi lived with us for 6 years before she went into the home, into the care center, and so she really got to know Emma, and she got to spend a lot of personal time with her here at the house. Dyeing Easter eggs, cooking Thanksgiving, all those kind of memories that we made for 6 years together in this house. And so when she went over there, she had all those memories. And then when Emma would come see her, it really sparked those memories. And I think it really helped her look forward to the next time that Emma would come.
Yeah.
And she would just be thinking about all those great memories that she had, and she wanted to make more memories. So, and it was really difficult at the end for Emma, I will say, because her quality of life started to deteriorate, and that's very difficult for somebody to see.
Yeah, especially after they've made so many memories with a certain person.
Right. When they're up walking around and, moving freely, and then being able to walk and bake cookies and all those fun kind of things, and then unfortunately you end up in a bed, and
not being able to get out of your room.
Right. Exactly. But it was very good for Mimi. It was very beneficial for Emma to come see her, and she loved it.
Okay. Thank you for helping me out with my project and
Oh, of course, absolutely. It's been a great time. Thanks, Cash. It was so great to see you.
In this next video, I'm doing a phone interview with a psychiatrist in the Houston area, Dr. James Nelson. And he's talking to me about his own personal experience with geriatric patients. What has been your experience with your family members and your visitations?
Well, I had a couple of grandparents that were in residential care when they got older. Some of the reasons that they got in were because of physical concerns. I had a grandfather that had seizures and that had very limited mobility because of arthritis. And I had a grandmother that had advanced Alzheimer's. So some of them were more for physical limitations and some were for more mental. And I think that typically the physical residential care tended to be a little bit better. They were able to have good exercise programs and things to kind of keep them moving a little bit easier, especially when their mental abilities were still pretty sharp. In the Alzheimer's, it was a lot more difficult because not only my grandmother but the other patients that I saw there were often confused. They got scared in some cases because they didn't understand what was going on. So some of the activities, they tried to have things to kind of still keep them active and mentally engaged, but sometimes it was just hard.
Did you notice a difference in the mood or disposition of your family members from your arrival to mid-visit to your departure, so from the beginning, middle, and end?
Okay. So for my grandfather, yes, he used to love to play cards, and he would try and play cards with some of the other people there, but some of the games he liked to play, the other residents there really weren't interested in playing, so he would do other things to kind of like play, or like play, but spend time with them, but some of the things he really enjoyed, he wasn't able to do that. So when I would go up with him, I'd bring a deck of cards, and we would find a table off in the corner, and we'd sit and play cards for a couple hours, and that seemed to, really kind of brighten him up, and he still had a good sharp mind, and would use some strategy and beat me quite often. I think he probably liked that a lot, but he seemed really happy and appreciative of it.
Yeah.
My grandmother, again, kind of the contrast when she had her Alzheimer's. Some days she would remember who I was, and other days she wouldn't. And as she was my grandmother, in some instances she thought I was her son. She had I have an uncle named Jim, so we have the same first name rather.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she would ask me my name, she would get confused and think I was her son. But she was just quite peaceful for the most part, but seemed a little bit more detached or not engaged as my grandfather had been.
Yeah. With your grandfather, that sounds like a lot of fun. What were some of the games you played with him?
So there was a game called Hand and Foot, and if you asked me how to play it right now, I couldn't even tell you, but it was kind of like a rummy game. And, you had to kind of like make matches of numbers, like, if you had 3 threes, you could lay them down, or if you had a 2, 3, 4, you could lay those down. But there were different things that you had to do to kind of be able to win the hand. And he was very notorious for having a really big lap, and all of a sudden, some of the key cards, he would, we'd be shuffling and be like, oh, look, Granddad, you got a card on your lap. He's like, oh, I wonder how that got there. And, of course, he was just like holding cards so that he could win the next hand and stuff like that, but, we let that go. But Hand and Foot was the name of the game that we used to play back in the day.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was.
Before you spent time with your family members, so with your grandparents, did you have an opinion about how the visit would be, and then in the end, would that opinion change on like how stuff would go and stuff like that? Like especially with like your grandmother who had Alzheimer's, would that opinion change because you would expect it to go one way and it went another?
Well, and actually, I think you're kind of spot on with that. My grandfather, I usually had a good expectation that we were going to have a good time, and unless he was just feeling like sick or just tired or something like that, usually we did have a pretty good time as expected. I would always try and plan out a few activities with my grandmother because sometimes she wasn't really sure what she wanted to do. So to kind of make some time with it, I would try and have some things. But ultimately it was, just kind of like sitting there and just spending time with her. And, I try and tell stories, remember the time that we did whatever, and, just trying to get her to try and remember some things. Yeah. And, earlier in the visits, she was able to recall a little bit more. But as time went on, of course, with the Alzheimer's, she forgot more and more and couldn't remember it. And it just didn't seem like that was engaging. So, I would just kind of sit there and, spend time and, kind of sit with her for a while. So, for her, it did kind of change a little bit, that I thought it was going to be a little bit more engaging, that we'd be able to talk and interact. But as time went on, it was a little bit less so. That's the interesting thing about Alzheimer's is that it's not like a straight path. There are some days that they can remember things better, and there's some days that are a lot more difficult. And from a short medical side point, we aren't quite sure exactly why it kind of vacillates that way, why some days are better than not, but that is a common process for it. But yeah, there were some times that, I, kind of have her remember, and, she did seem to kind of brighten up and, be able to talk about things a little bit more, and she felt a little bit more, seems to feel a little bit more confident when that happened.
Using your professional knowledge, with your job, do you believe that there is a link between quality of life and the patients there and the time that they spend with younger visitors and stuff like that?
I think that it can be. I think one of the quality of life is always a tricky one because especially what I saw with my grandfather, whenever he got to see some of my younger cousins, I think that kind of excited him, because, I think that as we get older, all of us kind of have a sense of legacy and kind of what is my life going to be like to leave behind? And, to see some of the young kids, I think was kind of exciting for him because, kind of gave him the vision of a legacy type thing that was pleasant for him. All right. Well, y'all have a great evening.
All right. You too.
You too.
Thank you. Here's a great conversation that I had with Miss Cindy, a psychotherapist who also has experience with geriatric patients. How does youth visitation affect geriatric patients' mood, mental wellness, and overall health?
So it affects it in tremendous ways. And so basically, and I can tell you from different studies that I know of, for example, one at the University of Iowa, there was a study that showed that very young fruit flies, when placed with older fruit flies, actually helped double the lifespan of those fruit flies. And so they found that those fruit flies lived longer. And that's just a minor study, not to compare it with humans, but what's so interesting is that there's a similar gene, the SOD1, and it's a gene that's linked with Alzheimer's and also linked with Lou Gehrig's disease. And so if there's, that's the reason, I guess, for studying these fruit flies. And if it's able to detect some kind of improvement, then there's possible, ways to do away with Alzheimer's or Lou Gehrig's. So that, I thought that was quite interesting. There's also some studies through the University of Arizona with college students paired with geriatric patients or in elder homes, assisted living homes, I should say, and so with exercising. So it basically what it showed was that it stopped the decline in cognitive, I guess, deficiencies. So it didn't, it stopped the decline. So as we know, and I'm already answering your other question, so I'm moving a little ahead, but as we know in the 20s, actually there's some loss of neurons already, and as we progress in age, there's more loss. But what's so interesting about this study is that it stops the decline of cognitive deficiencies. It also increases vascular health and socializing abilities, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. What are some examples of how the brain works differently when you are a geriatric patient?
Okay, so as I just kind of stepped into that question, as you go into your 20s, you start having a loss of neurons, which obviously make up the brain and are responsible for, most of what it does. And so with that loss of neurons comes a decline in pretty much everything, in vascular health, in physical health, in social health, mental wellness. So
what motivates geriatric patients to seek psychoanalytic assistance, and how does that differ from younger patients?
Okay, so there is a lot of awareness now when it comes to therapy, right? To self-analyzing. There is a lot of awareness to seeking mental health services. Humans are living a lot longer, and now there's no longer the idea that old people are not worth an investment, or they're not that they don't learn past a certain time. So now that we are living longer, and that older people are capable, and there is awareness, they are seeking more treatment, and they're also utilizing it. Maybe even I think what's part of it is that as you get older, you find more value in these services, in having a conversation and having a dialogue. So they're more likely to seek these services because of that. They also don't want another pill. They also don't want another pill to take on top of the other pills they already have to take. So they prefer to go into a therapeutic setting where they can have a discussion and they can analyze. They are deeper thinkers than the younger people, and so they want to analyze. They want to explore relationships. They want to make amends. So that's, I would say, the difference.
My last question is, what is your professional opinion on the benefits of geriatric patients receiving regular visitation by young people?
I think it's very important. I think it's very important because we need to go back to when we used to value geriatrics, when we used to value, I don't know that I'm a fan of that word, but I think that we need to go back to when they were still part of the family, that they were still contributants, that they still, that their experience is important, right? The older, the more important their experience is, the more experience that they have. So I think it's important that we go back to that, and that they are valued, and that they do teach a lot of what they know to the younger generations. So for us to integrate both is a great idea. A lot of these people are dying away without passing on that valuable information. So I think it's highly important that we bring in the younger generation to interact with the older. Absolutely. And also not to just see them as replaceable. We live in a society now that everybody is replaceable. Everything is replaceable, and I disagree with that. It's not.
I agree.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
In this video, you'll get to see some clips of me interviewing the activities director of an assisted living home. What do the caretakers in assisted living facilities notice about the mood of the residents after the resident receives a young visitor?
They love young visitors. They love children. Love children and they love pets. I brought my dog up here and she was just too wild. They loved her, but she's a little Maltipoo and she's very hyper and she licked everybody and she was jumping all over everybody. So I took her home by 11 o'clock.
You're done with that.
Yeah.
Do y'all have regular pet visitors? Like that?
And we have residents that have pets.
Oh.
What kind of changes to mood and behavior do caretakers see in generic and geriatric residents immediately preceding a scheduled visit by a young person?
Same thing, happy, excited,
Yeah.
wanting to know when they're going to come back.
Yeah. What are the noticeable effects to the mental and physical health in geriatric residents who rarely get visitors?
Angry, bitter.
Better write it down, guys.
Yeah.
Kind of like bah humbug, I don't want visitors. I don't like people, Kind of validating, I don't want anybody to come see me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the effects on young people who spend more time volunteering and visiting with the patients at assisted living homes?
Well, I'll tell you this. Both of my sons worked here, and it changed them forever. Favorite thing was the residents, and they absolutely loved them. And when they came home, that's all we talked about. That's it.
Are there certain types of activities that are more beneficial to the cognitive health of assisted living residents?
Yes, we do trivia. They do very well, even in memory care. Even though their short-term memory, dementia means that your short-term memory is lacking. Their long-term memory is still intact.
I was wondering, how can me or my sister who is 16 come in and volunteer here and stuff like that?
We have a volunteer application. You fill out the application. We don't turn down volunteers, but we do. We probably wouldn't on you, but we do background checks just like we would an employee. And a little bit of a few questions about seeing what they want to do exactly and how they want to volunteer. Because they could volunteer, could be helping in activities. A volunteer might be, to sit and read to a resident, to one or a group. So we kind of find out what type of volunteering do you want to do. Do you want to do one-on-one? Do you want to do groups? Do you want to come help in the dining room? What exactly do you want to do?
Yeah. Thank you for watching. And now enjoy some pictures of me interacting with some residents of an assisted living home.